Having spotted bazillions of UFOs in our skies, many of them have been revealed to be actual UFO sightings after due diligence. Here are some of the most compelling evidence that no one was able to deny. High above the mountains, pilots spotted something unusual. A flat, disc-like object moved slowly through the sky. Its middle glowed with an eerie light, shifting colors as if scanning the area. It hovered as if searching for a landing spot, then remained still for a few seconds before vanishing at an impossible speed. More pilots came forward, sharing similar sightings. The mountains, isolated and untouched, could be hiding something much bigger. Well, what's your take on this? Desert visitor. A recent clip has been making headlines for all the right reasons. In Saudi Arabia, a massive flying object was seen landing in the desert. Moments later, a staircase extended from it and a tall, skinny figure stepped out. The video quality wasn't great, making it hard to see its exact features. For a brief moment, the craft remained still. Then, without warning, it went straight up into the sky and disappeared. But the figure? It stayed behind, standing in the desert. People couldn't help but call it a UFO and an alien. Maybe there's a secret mission unfolding in the desert, one that could be revealed soon. Energy beam recharge. At the top of a rocky hill, visitors spotted a triangular object standing still. Suddenly, a bluish beam of light shot down from it, touching the hilltop. It didn't look like just any light. It seemed like pure energy. Those who saw it believed the object was drawing power from deep within the Earth's crust, using its beam to recharge itself. A UFO, no doubt. Once it had what it needed, it flew away, disappearing into the sky. The witnesses were left stunned. It had appeared over a hill this time, but what if next time it was right above their houses? Military UFO deal. An old video caught people's attention. It showed a giant spaceship-like object slightly above the ground. Its bottom glowed with lights, possibly preparing to land. Below it stood a group of people, likely military men. It seemed like they were welcoming a UFO, which could mean some kind of agreement was taking place in secret. Over the years, similar cases resurfaced. The US called many UFO sightings secret military tests. But with so many reports and videos, the possibility remains that UFOs have been visiting us for a very long time. Alien abductions. In the Kuala Krai district of Malaysia, villagers spotted a disc-shaped object flying low. Its center glowed with a white light as it moved slowly, almost as if it was watching them. Unlike other UFOs, it didn't speed away. It hovered with purpose. Fear spread when some locals were reported missing. Was this spacecraft here for abduction? Many believe so. The strange sighting left the village in shock, and whispers of alien activity grew. Whatever happened that night, those who saw it would never forget what flew over their homes. Village UFO escape. In a village, a giant flying object was seen taking off from the ground, slowly rising into the air before disappearing into the distance. It wasn't a drone or an airplane. Some believe it was a UFO that might have experienced a technical malfunction, forcing it to land for emergency repairs. The sudden takeoff seemed like a last-minute escape before anyone could get too close. But despite the rush, it didn't go unnoticed. Witnesses saw everything, proving that it had no intention of staying. Beijing sky encounter. 哪好啊，这么重的膜啊。 On June 7th, 2013, in Beijing, China, some locals were enjoying their drive when they noticed a giant object flying in the air, moving alongside their car. At first, they tried to make sense of it, but then they saw it slowly descending. At one point, it completely disappeared. That's when it hit them. It was a UFO. Where it landed remains unknown, but there's a chance authorities recovered it. One thing is certain, UFO sightings aren't just a modern-day phenomenon. They've been happening for years, maybe even long before 2013.
快，停车！
Meadow alien contact. In a meadow surrounded by mountains, tourists stumbled upon something beyond explanation. A small, bizarre being stood there, motionless. Near it, a giant saucer-shaped craft rested on the ground. The being raised its hand as if signaling another figure near the craft. It seemed like some kind of communication. Within seconds, both figures rushed inside. The craft glowed with a strange light and in an instant shot into the sky at unbelievable speed. It was a UFO, and those beings were aliens on Earth. But the real question is, are we prepared for their presence? Area 51 crash. A strange incident took place in 2017 at Area 51. A white disc-like object was spotted on the ground as if it had crash-landed. Soon after, scientists and experts arrived, quickly surrounding it. They examined it for a while before transporting it onto a truck, likely taking it to their base. It might have been a UFO. The video ended abruptly, leaving no trace of what happened next. This event was not widely known, possibly because it was intentionally kept secret. Cave UFO encounter. Explorers ventured into the woods, expecting to encounter wild animals. Instead, they found something far more unusual. A rocky cave stood before them, but the real mystery lay inside. A giant flying object hovered within, slowly making its way deeper into the cave. It strongly resembled a UFO. The object eventually disappeared into the cave, and the explorers, believing it to be a UFO, chose not to follow. Nearby, along the ancient rocky cliffs, they noticed a dark figure standing at the cave entrance. It had a strange white face and watched them for a moment before vanishing inside. The cave seemed like a hidden base, and if they had gone inside, they might not have come back. Snowy portal mystery. A photographer in a snowy landscape captured a strange sight, a massive ship in the sky. Before he could react, a dark object flew out of it, vanishing behind a mountain. Another soon followed, and then the ship itself disappeared. It seemed like a hidden portal to outer space. In another case, a local saw a silver object releasing glowing white orbs. They floated into the clouds and vanished before the UFO faded away. Were they signals from another world? Some believe they were messages meant for humans. Now, UFO enthusiasts are trying to decode them. Bluish light hovered.
Yo, look at that.
Traffic came to a sudden stop, but not because of a signal. A strange object with a bluish light was seen hovering in the air. It didn't move forward or fly away. It just stayed there. People quickly took out their phones, recorded it, and uploaded the videos online.
No se mueve de ahí.
Many viewers pointed out that UFOs are often seen in unusual ways like this. The government later dismissed the claims, but those who witnessed it did not doubt what they saw. Meadow encounter. In a meadow, a local spotted a giant object with a flat top and a curved bottom. It was massive and just sat there, motionless. Then, out of nowhere, a glowing white cloud appeared. Before he could react, the object moved toward it and vanished inside. The portal disappeared right after. It didn't seem possible, but he had seen it with his own eyes. Many believed it was a UFO, and that the glowing cloud was a gateway, maybe leading it straight into outer space or to its next destination. Ethiopian cliff mystery. Ethiopia is known for its ancient history, but one event made it even more famous. Historians exploring the rocky cliffs noticed something unexpected, a flying object moving between the towering formations. At first, they weren't sure what they were seeing. It disappeared behind one cliff, only to reappear moments later. The movement was smooth and controlled, nothing like a bird or a drone. Then it hit them. This wasn't normal. It was a UFO. If one was flying through the cliffs, could there be more hidden within? Maybe those ancient cliffs held more secrets than history ever could. Brazilian sky mystery. On July 7th, 2024, over Curitiba, Brazil, locals captured a strange sight, a diamond-shaped object flying over the city. At first, no one knew what it was, but later, scientists stepped in with shocking claims. They testified that otherworldly beings might exist beyond Earth, and that governments could be hiding the truth. Even military officials confirmed encounters with such objects. Was this another sign of a long-hidden secret? Well, whatever it was, it left many questioning just how much we really know about what's out there. Alaskan mass abduction. A fisherman in Alaska stepped outside and froze. Above his house, a massive object hovered silently. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. The next morning, calls flooded the local radio station. Hundreds reported the same sighting, a colossal structure, nearly 2,000 feet long, floating above the town. Beams of colorful light shone from its underside, pulling things into the sky. It wasn't just a sighting, it was an abduction. Seeing this proves one thing: aliens are no longer just stories, they are real. Arizona crash landing. In Arizona, in 2025, a massive saucer-shaped object was spotted in an open area. It wasn't just hovering, it looked like it had crash landed. Scientists and space experts rushed to the site, carefully examining its structure. The more they studied, the clearer it became. This wasn't just any craft, it was a UFO. What made it even stranger was that similar sightings were reported in other locations. One appeared in India, another in China. One thing was clear: these sightings weren't just local incidents anymore. Fighter jet chase. Something shocking is coming your way, so hold on tight. Locals spotted an American F-22 fighter jet chasing a giant saucer-shaped object in the sky. It looked shiny, not a drone, not an airplane. It matched every description of a UFO. The jet was military, and if they were chasing it, then maybe that UFO had uncovered something they didn't want anyone to see. If the military is this quick to respond, it makes you wonder how often this really happens just without anyone watching. Triangular sky encounter. During a local outdoor game, something unbelievable happened. As players focused on the match, a massive craft appeared in the sky. It was triangular, glowing along its edges, and so huge it blocked part of the sky. There was no sound, just a silent hovering presence. Some said it looked like a UFO, while others thought it could be military. But before anyone could react, it went off at an impossible speed. With sightings increasing worldwide, the mystery of these alien beings only seems to grow. Cylindrical air encounter. A passenger hoping for a peaceful view saw something unexpected, a cylindrical object flying at an unusual speed. It wasn't a bird or another plane. The sight spread panic when rumors claimed the airplane vanished without a trace. San Diego had a similar case, where a fast-moving object was spotted in the sky, behaving in ways no human technology could. These sightings aren't new, but each one raises the same thought. If they've been watching us for this long, what are they waiting for? Area 51 secrets. Leaked footage revealed a hidden facility in Area 51, where a massive saucer-like craft hovered in place. It didn't look man-made. Some believed it was a captured UFO, possibly from a crash, now being studied in secret. Others speculated something even bigger. What if they were using it to create their UFOs? The person who leaked the footage lost their job soon after. If there was nothing to hide, why the swift action? Maybe this was proof that the secrets run deeper than we think. Woods disc encounter. In an open area near the woods, hikers spotted a disc hovering in the sky. Then from the trees, a dark figure appeared. Another massive object stood on the ground nearby. The figure moved toward it, and in an instant, both vanished. The hikers couldn't shake the thought. A UFO? An alien? They shared what they saw online, but soon after, the warnings came. A message from an unknown source demanded they delete their posts or face the consequences. Snowfield encounter. In a snowy field near the woods, a camper was heading home when he noticed something unusual, a flat, circular object resting on the ground. Then, a small, strange figure appeared, walking toward it. The being climbed a staircase into the craft, which then closed and ascended into the sky. It was clear to the camper, this was a UFO and the creature was an alien. The sight left him thinking, had aliens already started living among humans? With more sightings happening lately, it seemed they weren't just visiting anymore. Veneto landing mystery. A security camera had already captured some strange sight, a giant craft hovering in the sky before disappearing in an instant. Now, in Venado, a similar sighting took place. A dark object was seen flying low as if searching for a landing spot. The next day, a massive silver craft was spotted on the ground. No one dared to go near it, fearing what might be inside. The connection between the two events was clear. One was seen on camera, vanishing without a trace. The other appeared right after as if following a plan. Was this a coordinated arrival? Whatever it was, you missed this event. Mexican-Russian sightings. Mexico became the center of strange sightings when people spotted a massive triangle-shaped object hovering in the air. It didn't move, just stayed there, almost as if it was studying humans. A similar event unfolded in Russia. A UFO resembling an Imperial cruiser from Star Wars was seen hovering over the Kremlin. Witnesses estimated it was nearly a mile wide. Both sightings raised serious questions. Two distant places, two massive unidentified objects, both lingering as if watching. The footage of Russia's event has since vanished, but those who saw it called it one of the most extraordinary UFO clips ever recorded. Rescue mission. Woods seemed haunted by ghostly entities, but this time it was visited by something else. Campers spotted a circular disc-like object with bright lights around its edge. It wasn't moving, just standing there. A UFO, but unlike others, this one wasn't speeding through the sky. It is said that a UFO crashed in the same woods a few days ago. Now this one came looking for it. A rescue mission? Maybe. Whatever the case, the sighting didn't last long. LaGuardia Airport sighting. New York's LaGuardia Airport had an unexpected visitor that left many surprised. A black cylindrical object was seen from an airplane window moving fast across the sky. At first, the person who recorded it thought it might be a bug on the glass, but after playing the video back, it was clear that the object was outside and flying on its own. Experts looked at the footage and ruled out common explanations like drones or insects. Later that day, all flights were canceled due to this sighting. In the end, one thing was certain. This wasn't just any object, it was a UFO. Mountain portal. An old footage from 1993 recorded in Stuttgart, Germany suddenly went viral. It wasn't just any video, it showed a saucer-shaped craft flying in the sky. The object had a strange yellowish glow, almost like the sun. It was moving near a mountain, and just as it seemed like it was about to crash, the video cut off. Some people claimed they had seen the craft before that incident. Many believed it was a UFO, and some even suggested that it might have crashed into the mountain. Others had a different theory. What if the mountain was a portal, and that's why the craft was heading toward it? Ontario UFO sighting. My God. In Brampton, Ontario, Canada, a farming family noticed something dropping into the trees on their land. Curious, they stood and watched. It was an object sitting still among the branches. Then, it started glowing with white lights. It wasn't a drone or anything familiar. It was a UFO. Seeing it in real life made them uneasy. The thought of an alien encounter was enough to make them leave right away. They didn't want to risk staying any longer.
Pick up a UFO. It's way off in the woods.
Antarctic ice secret. A drone captured a disc-like object stuck in the Antarctic snow. At first, it seemed like just another optical illusion, but when authorities arrived, they found that it was a UFO buried beneath the ice. This wasn't the first sighting. In another case, military personnel spotted 3 disc-shaped objects hovering over the snowy peaks of Ross Island. Then, in 2015, a Navy flight engineer reported seeing silver objects darting between the mountains. Later, he flew over a restricted area and saw a massive hole in the ice. His crew experienced electrical failures before being warned never to speak of it again. Antarctica and its frozen lands seemed like the home of UFOs and aliens. New Mexico crash. In New Mexico, USA, in 1997, a glowing white object appeared at high speed. It crashed, barely touching the ground, then took off again. Another sighting showed a silver disc flying toward a mountain. It pulled up but was later seen crashing. In a desert, a giant circular object with strange patterns was found in the sand. These sightings all matched UFO descriptions. After 71 years, a well-known UFO crash site was open to the public. In 1947, officials first called it a flying saucer, then changed their story. Now visitors can see the wreckage, walking where the mystery began. The truth may still be out there. Taxi driver sighting. A taxi driver spotted something glowing in the sky. No, not a shooting star, but a round spaceship-like object flying over the city. It had bright lights, and for a moment he couldn't believe his eyes. He had seen things like this in movies, but this looked real. The object kept moving, heading toward the mountains. Then it slowly faded away into the sky. It wasn't a plane, and it wasn't a drone. If this was truly a UFO, then it might have been one of the clearest sightings ever. Highway UFO transport. A large truck was moving down the highway, carrying something covered under a tarp. It had a strange shape, round with smooth edges, and seemed too big for anything normal. People on the road couldn't help but stare. Some took out their phones trying to capture what they were seeing. The object wasn't fully hidden. It looked too familiar, like something seen in secret government files. It didn't take him long to realize that it was a UFO. And the truck? It was heading toward the restricted roads leading to Area 51. Red Rocks encounter. Red Rocks Amphitheater had seen many unforgettable events, but this one was different. The crowd saw a strange glow appeared in the sky. At first, it seemed like just another aircraft, but then it moved. Too fast, too smooth. For a few seconds, it is said it hovered in silence. A massive, dark, metallic shape loomed over the area. Then, without warning, it disappeared. Those who saw it knew this wasn't a plane or a drone. It was something else, a UFO, and if it had come this close once, who's to say it won't return? Russian UFO discovery. An old video from 1969 has recently been making headlines. For a valid reason, it showed a military truck deep in the Russian woods, where soldiers discovered a massive disc-like craft sticking out of the ground. As they moved closer, they realized its shape was unlike any known aircraft. It appeared to be a UFO, possibly crash-landed and hidden for years. Without wasting time, the military gave orders to extract it and transport it to their base. This wasn't an ordinary discovery. It needed to be studied. Industrial UFO hover. In the open rural landscape with an industrial area nearby, workers were busy with their routine. Then, right above the ground, something unusual appeared in the scene. At first it looked like a reflection, but as it moved closer, they realized it was a flying saucer. It hovered for a moment almost as if observing the area. Then, without warning, it went up into the sky and disappeared. It wasn't just some aircraft, it was a UFO, and if it had landed there before, maybe its mission on Earth was already complete. Italian river sighting. Something giant was flying over a riverbed in Italy. Its shape didn't match any known aircraft. It wasn't a bird or a drone either. The craft hovered, staying in one place as if observing. But the moment it was noticed, it did something else. It flew away, fast, vanishing into thin air. Rumors suggested it was a UFO, and for those who already believed in them, this only made their belief even stronger. Scott Base transport. In Scott Base, 2014, a massive load was being transported by a company known for moving heavy equipment. But this wasn't just any machinery. It had a sleek, curved shape, too perfect, too advanced. Workers stood around inspecting it closely. It wasn't long before people realized what they were looking at. It was a UFO. Rumors suggested it had crash landed and was now being taken to an expert facility for study. Maybe they weren't just analyzing it, rather they were planning to build one just like it. Lunar UFO presence. A famous astronaut revealed shocking details about what he saw. While on the moon, he noticed an unusual light moving against the stars. He and his crew chose not to alert Houston, knowing what it meant. Later, another astronaut switched to a private channel and said there were unknown objects parked near the crater, watching them. In Moscow, a photographer captured multiple black circular objects moving across the moon. They weren't satellites or asteroids. Experts analyzed the footage and found no explanation. Some believed they were massive UFOs orbiting the moon. Another video surfaced showing a dark figure walking on the lunar surface. Not a human. Whatever it wasn't alone. After reaching Earth, UFOs and aliens started reaching the moon too. Marine base sighting. Above the US Marine base in California in 2021, residents witnessed a sight straight out of a movie. A small white orb was spotted in the night sky, its shape unclear in the darkness. But this wasn't the only sighting. The same craft was seen in different places, appearing triangular elsewhere. This heated debate among people, and soon it was identified as a UFO. Some speculated that the base itself might be a secret portal or a facility connected to aliens. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Russian mountain speed. Russia became the center of attention in 2023 after a strange sighting in its snowy mountains. A disc-shaped object was seen moving at incredible speed, cutting through the cold air like nothing else. It flew low at first, almost as if scanning the area. Then, without warning, it shot straight up and disappeared into the sky. Tourists who saw it were convinced it wasn't any known aircraft. Some thought it was watching them before leaving in a hurry. Others believed it didn't want to get caught and might have returned once the area was clear. Helicopter disc transport. Locals witnessed a bizarre sight one day, something that didn't make sense at all. A helicopter was flying over the city, but it wasn't flying alone. Suspended beneath it, held by ropes or cables, was a large disc-shaped object. At first, people thought it was just a routine transport, but as they looked closer, it seemed like more than just cargo. The government denied any unusual activity, brushing off claims that it was a crashed UFO being moved. But locals weren't convinced. They believed something was being kept from them, something bigger than anyone realized. If this really was a UFO, then the question remained, what was it doing here? And what mission had just been interrupted? Jet chase.
I don't know what it is.
A bizarre scene unfolded over a US military base in Turkey. Fighter jets were chasing an unidentified flying object. They surrounded it, trying to force it down, but it slipped away every time. The pilots had no idea they were dealing with a UFO. Even if they managed to catch it, there was one problem. Aliens are far more advanced than humans. If they wanted to escape, they would. If they wanted to take the jets with them, they could. Plane abduction mystery. A leaked video took the internet by storm, showing a flying saucer hovering over a stationary plane inside a restricted military zone. At first, it just floated there, unmoving. Then, it slowly began rising. But here's the real twist. It didn't leave alone. The plane vanished with it. Rumors spread fast. Was this an alien abduction? The military launched an urgent search, but there were no traces left behind. No wreckage, no signals, nothing. A whole aircraft gone in an instant, as if it was never there. Some say the video was erased from most platforms soon after, but those who saw it, they knew something beyond this world had just happened. Open discussion. While looking out of the plane window on a United Airlines flight, a passenger saw something unbelievable. A huge round disc was floating in the sky, glowing with a weird greenish light that looked so eerie. He had never seen anything like it before. Stories about UFOs ran through his mind, and he wondered if this was one of them. Maybe that strange glow was a signal or a warning meant for the plane's pilot. Seeing this, the pilot sped away from the plane, not wanting any chaos to happen. A better move for sure.